Computer. Welcome to Exploring Orthodoxy. Welcome to our listeners and to the listeners of Geronda, Savvas, Lavriotis, listeners from probably YouTube on your page as well that join us. How are you, Geronda?
I'm okay, thank God.
Oh, very good. Now we're continuing on with Revelation chapter 13. We're up to verse 6. So, what we saw in a few verses before was the introduction of a beast that was coming out of the sea. And there was a description there that we talked about. So, do you want me just to continue with the first verse, or do you want to say anything there?
No, we continue. We
Okay.
continue.
So,
Continue.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 6. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven.
Okay. We said in the previous uh, uh, lesson that we've done that in this chapter we are going to see mostly about what the Apostle John says about the Antichrist and about the false prophets. And not only he will give us information for these two people, but also we will see how they will act and what they are going to do. Not only by the system that they will try to enforce this dictator that they want to make, so they will make the people to worship the devil. But we will see many things here. We will take many informations that it will be very supportive and very um, helpful for our spiritual life, because as we said before, these explanations that we do on the revelation is not only how things will go, but how we have to deal and what we have to do to prepare our spiritual life to be prepared, so we will be able to fight these people, fight their evil, and to win through this. That's why now the apostle says something very important,
Mhm.
and we are going in very important things now, because he says, then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God. Who is opening his mouth? If we go below, we will see that we are speaking about the Antichrist now. Okay, and he opened his mouth, meaning that, of course, if you want to say something, you will open your mouth, but it's not that he's opening his mouth. When we say he's opening his mouth, we are speaking about, but because his mouth is not only his, it's also all these systems that this person represents. It's very important. So when he is opening his mouth, all these systems open their mouths, and all these is like we say that the hell is opening, and all the devil is going out. So he's with his disciples start to blasphemy against God, but not only against God, also he says to blaspheme his name, because the God is one, and his uh, wait a minute. I
Tabernacle.
have to wear, yes, I have to wear my glasses.
Skinin after.
Yes, his tabernacle and those who dwell in heaven. What does it mean? Means that the Apostle Paul give us many informations from, especially from his epistle in the second epistle that he sent to Thessalonians. And especially in the second chapter, he says to us, uh, if you allow me to, if you allow me a little bit to
Yes.
open my book, because it's something very important.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so Ioanni. Πλησίους των it's very important. Why? Because we will see something very important. Okay, I found it. In the second chapter, we see that he says in the second chapter, third, verses 3, nobody cheat us, because he speaks about the second coming of God, and he says that if this person, that the person of the sin, the person that he says that he's lift himself above all the gods, above all gods, because he will try to take the worshiping from the people, and he will try to enforce people to worship him as God. So this is something very important. He is not able to do it if he's not blaspheming against God, and if he's not blaspheming his name. That's why the first thing that he is doing after, this is something important, after he will take the power, the authority, because before, as we said before, Saint Ephraim Syros says to us something very important and very useful information that we have to use it. He says before his take over the authority and reveal himself, he is going to show to people a very nice person, that he's a very nice person. He's humble. He will make many good things to people. He will be supportive to everybody. He will give solution to wars, to economical, to the economical problems to the people. And the most important, he will show himself that he loves God, and he's a religious person. This is very important, because otherwise he's not going to cheat people. He have to show this face. That's why after he will take over the authority, then he will blaspheme against God and his name and his tabernacle and those who dwell in heaven. And as we know from the prophet Daniel, he says also that he will blaspheme against saints. And also we know from, for example, we see different systems, also Christians, like Protestants, also the Heliastes, the martyrs of Jehovah, that they don't accept the saints. So that's why I said to you before that it's not only the Antichrist that he will say bad things against the saints, but also all the system that they represent, they will go against the law of God, against God, and against saint of the real God.
That part you said, where you said he'll be even blaspheming the saints, is in Revelation 13:7. It was granted to him to make a war with the saints and to overcome them, and authority was given to him over every tribe, tongue, and nation.
Yes. Now we see something very horrible for many people, but it's not as it sounds, because when he says that it was granted to him, from who? From God. It was granted to him, it was given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. Of course, he will make war with the saints, and he will win. But this victory of him is not going to be a victory as we think, our people, because also if we see the martyrs, especially in the first 3 centuries of the Christian history, we will see that all these Antichrist people was making war with Christians, and for them there was winning this war, but it wasn't a win, because they didn't overcome them. Maybe the Antichrist will kill the Christians. Maybe he will try to suffocate them, but he will not manage to bend their soul and to make them to worship him, because the real victory is not to kill them. The real victory for him is going to be to make them worship him. Of course, you will say to me that many people will worship him, and many people will bend, and they will deny
Mhm.
the real God, and they will give worshiping in to him.
Yeah,
This is
and
something else.
that's actually Revelation 13:8 now. It says, all
Yeah.
who dwell on the earth will worship him, and whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
Yes, exactly. So the real Church of Christ, the real Church of Christ, as we saw in the Revelation again before in chapter 9, that or 11, I don't remember, that we saw the angel to give a meter to John and set meter the temple, but left out the yard and the other
The
buildings, you know.
outside yard, yeah.
Exactly. This means that not everybody that is baptized Christian is going to be saved, and not everybody that says that I am a Christian is going to be saved.
Hmm.
So we see here something very important, and that we will connect it with the previous verses. That who dwell on the earth will worship Him, those names whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So we see here that the people that they will dwell him and worship him, it will be the people that they will be beaten by him. But the real Christians, they will not worship him, and the real Church of Christ is that are the people that they will not worship the devil and the Antichrist, and they will not make an ally with their systems that he will represent by that time. So we see that it's not going to be an easy thing to deal with these things, because by that time, and we see this now, the Christians will have to go against the system, that this system will rule everything. And as we see now, and we will see also
Mhm.
later in the Revelation, the
Okay.
Antichrist will be so powerful. He will conquer everything. He will rule the world.
Mhm.
And if you want to go against him, you will have to do it with your life. The price will be your life, not your soul, your life. But this is the fight from the people. And now, in the Revelation chapter 13, verses 9, we will see
Yeah,
this
it
about
says,
this.
if
Yes, yes.
anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone understands what's been said, let them understand. Mhm. And then Revelation 13:10. He who
Yes.
leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Okay, so we go before in the verses 9.
Mhm.
And now says to us, if anyone has an ear, let him hear. But we know that everybody have ears, not ears. So why will hear what John says? Here is the spiritual, these verses, this chapter number 13, verses 9. It's something very, very, very spiritual.
Mhm.
Maybe it's very short, but if we are going to analyze this, we will need hours to analyze. So I will be very try to make it shorter. This means that uh, it's like John says to us that I expose you what's going to happen. I say to you what you have to do, and if you have your spiritual eyes and your spiritual ears and your soul open, you have to hear, because it's about your life, it's about your soul, and it's about the salvation. It's very, very important. This chapter is very important, and here the apostle Jesus Christ, in fact, through Apostle John, says to us that we have to open the ears of our soul to understand that we have to give our lives, our souls, if we want to to go to the paradise and to win the eternal life. There is no other way, to save our souls.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. That's why in the verses 10 says, "Who he who leads into captivity shall go into captivity." In the Greek text, it says, "It is isachmalosian, isachmalosian υπάγει." It means that the one who is captivated by the evil is going to be dead also in his soul.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the apostles tries to awake us, to show us what's going to happen, and try to say to us not to be afraid from the people of evil, that they will try to kill our soul. That's why also he said that he make war with the saints and he will win this war. But this win is not going to be a spiritual win. It's going to be a spirit. It's going to be um, uh, an earthly win that is not going to. It's going to be good for us,
Mm-hmm.
because he was going to kill the saints, and the people that they will be killed by the Antichrist will go near Jesus Christ. That's why it's very important what we are reading here.
So I've
He
just
who
got,
kills,
oh, sorry, go on.
yes,
No, go
you
on.
can, oh, tell me.
I was just going to say, why has John made it more difficult to understand this book of Revelation? Because when you compare it to John, Matthew, Mark, they're writing very straightforward. But why is John writing almost in riddles, in puzzles?
Yes, it's a good question. Listen, this book written before 2000 years almost, okay, and concern or not only our age, but all the centuries that the Christians are and live. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It had to be written like this, because if God give us everything in the plate, we say, we are not going to realize how important it is. So that's why some things that they are very important for our salvation, and also happens during the centuries, they have to be written in this way. So the people will go, they will not just read this text, but they will study this text, and they will go deeply in this spirituality. Because, Jesus Christ said, don't give the pearls to the pigs,
Swine.
because
Yeah.
it's not something that is something simple. It's mysteries of our faith, and not everybody is able to understand and to estimate and to value these truths of our faith. It's very important, because you see, most of the people, they don't care about these things. Most of the people, they don't search. Most of the people, they
Mm.
just they are curious. Who is the Antichrist and what is going to happen? Just curiosity, but not the real concern of our soul. That's why also it's very important. Jesus Christ was speaking through parables, and
Mm.
that's why his disciple says to him, "Why you are speaking parables? Because they are not worthy they are not worth to listen the truths of our faith." That's why Jesus Christ was speaking in parables, and that's why John is giving us all these truths of our faith and of the future. But you have to be worthy to understand.
Mm.
And the people that they want to search the truth, they will study this. And also, Saint Ephraim of Syros says something very important.
Mhm.
If you really want to find Jesus Christ, you will have to pray, to clean yourself, to clean your soul, your heart, your mind, and it's not something easy. Why the revelation will be easy for us to understand all these mysteries?
Mhm.
That's why if you want to be with Christ, you have to go in the hard way, in the narrow gate, and this is the narrow gate.
This is true because it's written in a way with so much symbology and descriptions. It makes you stop and think. Like you can't really race past and read it quickly. You're always stopping. Oh, what do they mean? I don't know, like some of these other verses that why is he going to make war with the saints? And suddenly you realize, hang on, God actually puts a lot of value to the saints because, as you said, there are some Christian religions that don't put any value to the saints. I think you said the Jehovah Witnesses there. So it makes you stop and think, and then where it says here, the beast is going to be blaspheming against God, but in everything, his name, his tabernacle, those who dwell in heaven. So he's going to attack Christianity or Orthodoxy in every direction so that to confuse people, you know? So
Exactly, exactly.
it makes you stop and think, when you're reading these sentences.
And also you don't stop and think also, but you realize this is something very important. And what you realize that, for example, the Protestants, that they are fighting the saints and the sin of the saints, they belong to Antichrist. For example, also the people that martyr of Jehovah, they don't accept saints. They are fighting. So by this you understand and you realize how many systems the Antichrist rule, and how many systems and religions and the Christians confessions in brackets, they belong to him. So you understand that it's not just read the revelation. It's comprehend, understand what Jesus Christ tried to pass to us, try to make us understand what's going on. It's very important.
So, what does it mean? He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword.
It means that whatever we do in our spiritual life is coming back to us. It's coming back. So if it now we are killing, we are speaking about killing, and killing with a sword must be killed with a sword. It means that whatever you do in your life, it's coming back to you, and this is not only in good things, but mostly in bad things, and that's why Jesus Christ is trying to protect us, to warn us, and to say to us that you have to avoid these things. That's why I give you the revelation. So you will not go with the Antichrist, and you will not make an ally with these systems that
Mm.
he is behind. Because, as we said before, and it's very important, the Antichrist will try to deceive people. That's why he will be hidden, and he is hidden behind these Christian faiths and the conventions and these religions that they speak. For example, they sent me yesterday a small video in TikTok, and it was a yogi, a Hindu yogi, that he was speaking about the future life, and it was a West person from I think he was from Germany, and he said, "What's going to happen after we die?" And he was very sure, that he was speaking, and after we die, nothing happened, and there is no heaven, there is no hell, and we are going to become gods anyway. And he was deceiving people by this way, and these people, the Western people, was hearing him. That's why all these informations that we receive from the revelation from the Bible is very important, because these people are trying to kill the souls of the people, the other people, and we have to be very protected by these informations that we are take from the Holy Scriptures, you know.
It's very important. We've said this before. You have to read the Bible yourself. Don't expect others to tell you bits and pieces about what's in it. You have to actually read the Bible so that you can learn what's in there.
Yes, exactly.
There's no way around it.
Yes.
I mean, you could go to church for 20 years and there are people, maybe they haven't read the Bible. They don't really understand what's going on. That's what I think. I don't know.
Many people that I ask them if they read the Bible, they say to me no,
I
and
know.
they go for years. Yes,
Yeah,
they go
yeah.
for years in church, you know.
And then they're just going to be swayed by all these strange ideas that they hear from a different, say religion. Like, oh,
Yes,
the stars, they came together, the stars, there was some big bang, and we were created from the stars. But
yes,
they like to believe it because it sounds so interesting.
yes, and the most amazing thing is that they didn't read the Holy Bible, but if you
Mm.
speak about the Holy Fathers, they don't know what is the Holy who are the Holy Fathers and what they read. And of course, if you don't
Mm.
read
Mm.
the Holy Scriptures, how you go to read the Holy Fathers, you know? But these two things go together.
Yeah. Because it
Yeah.
amazes me, even with the stars, this theory they've got that the stars cause some bang, and look at our creation. That makes no sense. How can the stars create so much order, and humanity, and everything runs like clockwork? How can an explosion cause this? It makes no sense, yet people
And
believe it.
even and if it was an explosion, who made this explosion?
But an
From
explosion never creates order.
I know, but who made
Okay?
who runs this explosion?
Yeah,
But
well, that's right. The
you know,
creator, God. So,
yes,
but to think that you could get all the different animals, and even the way we're made, our cells, as an organism, it makes no sense that the stars could create that. It makes no sense. Anyway,
I know this is the demonic creations, but
yeah, I know. So that was the first beast we talked about. Now we're starting on the second beast in Revelation 13:11. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon.
okay. Now we will meet the Antichrist, the prophet of the Antichrist, the false prophet. Okay, and we will see some very important informations that we take from the Holy Fathers again. That you will be amazing. You will be amazed with what we'll say now,
Mm-hmm.
and also the people. Yeah. So we
Okay.
see now John sees another beast. That this beast is coming from the earth.
Mm.
And why now he's coming? We explain that the previous beast, that the Antichrist, that it was horrible, and it was something very awful, and uh,
The
that he
first
came from
beast
the sea,
comes from the sea, and this one
yeah,
comes from the earth.
earth, and this beast that come from the earth, the Holy Father interprets that the earth is the symbol of the earthly way of thinking
Mm-hmm.
and of the passions, the earth,
Mm-hmm.
the soil. Okay, that's why also God said to devil after the fall of Adam and Eve that you will crawl in the earth all your life, meaning that you will crawl in the earthly desires and the dust of the passions. That's why this beast is from the earth, is coming from the earth, means that is coming from the bad passions that represent the power of the devil. That's why it's coming from the earth, and that's why he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. Now we know that the horns is the symbol of authority, of power.
Mm-hmm.
The two horns now, why two and one? Because the two horns have the lamp. That the lamp is something very peaceful. But why he's speaking like a dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the deceiving of the Satan. Now, the first beast that we saw, it's a terrible beast that combine all the wilderness of the of the lions, of the bear, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very obvious that it's a terrible, a horrible creature.
Mm-hmm.
Here we see that what is coming is not horrible, but it will present himself like something very good, something very peaceful that can give and pass peace, because the lamp is something very peaceful, you know. But why he's speaking like a dragon? Because he's camouflage. This is his camouflage. He's hiding behind this appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And why he's hiding behind this appearance? Because he wants to deceive people.
That's
Now,
right.
something very important. Saint Cosmas Tolos, a Greek saint, that he preached in the 16th century in Greece and was killed by the Jews and the Turks. He said that the Pope will be the Antichrist, and don't trust him and curse to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have something that is very important. We see that this beast that is coming from the earth, he's like a lamb. He have two horns that represent the tranquility and the peace that this lamb have, but he's speaking like a dragon. Means that the false prophet is going to support the Antichrist, and the people will believe them because of his appearance. According to the to Saint Cosmas Tolos, the false prophet of the Antichrist, it will be the Pope. Now, why I say this? Because the Pope is in reality he's a false prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the beginning of the Christianity, the bishops they was calling the bishops prophets. It's very important. By the time of the Revelations was written by John, the bishops was called prophets in the church. A false prophet is a false bishop. Now, also the Pope, if you see, in his head, have two. It's like two horns. His tiara, called his head, have two faces. The one face symbolize the authority that have like a religion leader, and the second face of his tiara is representing the authority that he have as a government of Vatican, because the
Mm-hmm.
Vatican, as you know, is how can I say uh, Kratos? How you call
Mm-hmm.
this in
Yeah, it's a
in
city,
English?
Vatican City.
It's a, it's a city, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a government, you know. So the Pope have two authorities: religion and government,
Vatican City. Mm-hmm.
Vatican City. So
Mm-hmm.
these two horns represent these two authorities of the false prophet of the Antichrist, that he will have authority in religion and he will have authority in politics.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very important. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's why he will speak like a dragon, because he
Mm-hmm.
will support with what he will say. He seems to be a lamb,
Mm-hmm.
but he will be a dragon
Mm-hmm.
to deceive people to believe and worshiping the Antichrist.
And we see lots of those sort of verses in the Bible, like, to beware of the sheep. That's to beware of the sheep. Now, to beware of the what's that phrase? The lickle who's dressed as a sheep.
Yes, the wolf. Yes,
The
yes,
wolf.
yes,
That's right.
yes.
That's right. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so Revelation 13:12, and he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed.
Okay. Now we see that he exercised all the authority of the first beast. Okay. Why? Because he wants and calls the earth. This is the most important thing. And in his presence, meaning that he speaks about the Antichrist, and he's pushing the Antichrist to take the leadership.
Mhm.
And he's trying, and that's the most important thing is that and cause the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast. This is his mission. His
Mhm.
mission is to cause the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast. You know,
Mm.
so this false prophet, this false bishop, these false systems, these systems that the two horns, because of course the Holy Father says that the Antichrist and the false prophet will be persons, will be human beings.
Mhm.
Okay, but as we said before, these horns also the Antichrist have, and also the false prophet represent the systems that they are the systems that they represent the evil and the devil, and through these systems the people will give worship to the first beast and of course to the devil, because the first beast and the second beast, the lamb that is speaking like a dragon, they are working for the Satan. This is the most important.
Mm. So,
Who's deadly now? We have another information that we see before,
mm.
whose deadly wound was healed.
Mhm.
And this is very important because, as we said, this is idolatry and also the Antichrist. And the Apostle John wants us to be secured and to be sure that this second beast is working for the Antichrist, not for someone else, but to a specific person, to specific system, with the specific systems that these two persons represent.
So are we saying here these two beasts represent, say, a certain two different individuals that the
Yes,
Antichrist is sending ahead of himself coming? Is that what
yes,
we're saying?
and
Oh.
yes, the Satan sent these two persons, the Antichrist
Oh.
and the
The two
and
beasts.
the yes, the second beast, to work for him and
Before he
in trade to
comes.
them. Yes, before and he and this gives him, they give him to them all these authorities
Mhm.
and all this glory and money and the power, the earthly power. That's why he's come from the earth, and that's
Interesting.
why these his disciples,
Hmm.
the
So,
Antichrist and the false
yeah.
prophet.
So where we say, Enoch and Elijah are the two witnesses that God is sending, we're saying these two beasts are the two, witnesses of the Antichrist.
Of the Satan.
Yeah, of the Satan. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. Revelation 13:13. He performs great signs so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Yes, he have to make himself to be believed by people. And people want, they want signs. You remember, now we have to connect it with Jesus Christ again. The Jews, that it will be the nation that will embrace Antichrist and the false prophet, and not only embrace, but also push him to the authority and to take over the authority and the government of the global government, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What they were saying to Jesus Christ, they were saying to him, give us a sign, because we have three kinds of signs. We have the heavenly signs from heaven, from the sky,
Mm-hmm.
from the earth, and from down the earth. And from the sky, we see that there are coming fire and all these things that Elijah also was doing, and also the resurrections. In the ground miracles are what Jesus Christ was doing by healing people and make all these miracles with multiplies the food and all these things. And we have also when he was raising the dead, the miracles that come from under the world, you know. So now, and that's why the Jews asked from Jesus a sign from the sky, and Jesus Christ didn't give this sign because they wasn't going to believe, but he gave them a sign that combines all these three signs from sky, from earth, and under. And that's why he said, I will give you the miracle of Iona. And it was the
Oh, yeah.
sign of the the
With
resurrection,
Jonah.
because the
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
And that
And
would
he
be the
meant
only sign that he was going to give.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And this sign was his resurrection, because
Mm-hmm.
he was speaking about himself,
Mm-hmm.
and they combine all these signs, because he died, he
Mm-hmm.
went to had
In the
Hades,
valley
he
of the
came back
whale
with the resurrection, yes, and
for
then
3 days, and then he came out.
after yes, and after 40 days, he went to the sky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very important. That's why we say all these informations, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to connect all these informations with the Holy Bible, and that's why he will deceive those who dwell on the earth by those signs, because people, as you see now, they want signs, they want miracles. That's why they go to America, have talent, and Australia have talent, and Greece have talent, and all these things, because they want to see magicians, they want
Oh,
to
yeah.
see miracles, you know, they want to see spectacular things,
Mm.
but not what it's important for our souls, because to give signs and to do something magic and something it have no meaning. So okay, you have a card and it's flying, so
Yeah, but
what you have to do
God's
with
doing miracles all the time. God, Jesus, the saints who help, with our prayers, and they're all doing miracles.
I know, but
Mm.
that's why he will try to deceive people by the signs,
Yeah, that's
because
right.
this is the
That's,
meaning of the
that's right.
signs.
That's right.
Deceiving, you know.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
have no other way to deceive people. He can't deceive people with his teaching. He can't deceive people with what he is, because he's not
Mm.
God. So what is the most easy way to deceive people? Signs, you know.
And
That's why
powerful
now,
signs, powerful signs.
exactly, and
Mm.
that's why Saint Ephrem of Syros and Saint Andreas Caesarias says also that he will make resurrections, but these resurrections are
Mm.
not real. You know,
Mhm,
they will be false. It's like
mhm,
3D resurrections that people will see, but it will not be true. You
mhm,
know, and also it's very, yeah.
mhm. So I'll just read the
It,
verse. That was Revelation 13:14, which says, And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived.
yes, okay. It's very important. Can we go back in the verses 13 a little bit? Okay. Now that's why he put fire. He makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men to everybody. You know. That's why now. Yes. Okay. We can go to verses 40 now. That's why he will deceive those who dwell on the earth, because these people are not going to be spiritual people. They don't believe to God. They don't based on the teaching of the gospel. That's why most of the people they didn't read the gospel. They don't know what the gospel says inside. And this is something that also devil trying to do, try to convince people not to read the gospel, because if you read the gospel, you will be prepared. You will be prepared for these things. And that's why John gave to the old generation of Christianity and also to people these informations, so we will not be deceived by the devil and by the Antichrist and by the false prophet. Now,
That's right.
he deceived those, yes, he deceived those who dwell on the earth, and those signs which he has granted to do in the sight of the beast. So whatever he's doing, uh, he's doing in front of people and in front of the beast. So these two persons, we see that they cooperate. You know, they are together. And he's trying to make people to worship not him, but the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth, to everybody. Now we speak globally. You know, we saw many times in this verse, we see two times, and he deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. You know,
That's
by
right.
this, John wants us to make make obvious to us that all these things that is going to happen is not going to happen only in Jerusalem, for example, or in Greece. It will be global. It's very important. It's so important, yes, because uh, when these things are going to happen, another sign that it will be the day of the Antichrist, the days of the Antichrist, is going to be global at all these things, everywhere on the earth. That's why those who dwell on the earth, and the most important thing that many people they don't understand is that he will make an image of the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived, because they want to worship the beast by this image first. Because many people are speaking only for the mark of the beast that is will be in the forehead, on in the right head, but it's not only the mark of the beast. The most important is the image that this beast, the second beast, is going to make, to create, and the people who dwell on the earth must worship, give worship to this person. Otherwise, they will not be able to live in the earth.
Okay, so the Greek Bible's been going to different chapters for some reason. Anyway, yeah. So
Okay, the
uh,
time is passing. Eh?
there's something about an icon. It says to make a icona of
Yes,
Thirio,
yes.
Therios.
Thirio. He will make an icon of this beast, the Antichrist, the first beast. So the second beast will create an icon,
Mhm.
that this icon will have the face of the first beast. And that's why he said that this beast wounded by the sword and lived. It's very specific.
Oh yeah,
This
he was
person
wounded.
that
Yeah, by
yes.
the sword.
So we're speaking about
The first
the
beast.
first beast.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Okay.
All right. Revelation 13:15. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed.
Yes. Okay. Now, we see that he was granted power to give. This is one of the signs. This is one of the signs that the Antichrist, the false prophet, will make, so that the people will believe in the Antichrist. So we see now that Edothi and was granted.
Mhm.
This phrase and was granted. We will see in this chapter. We will see 6 times it was granted. He was granted. He was granted, and also we explained before that all these things that happening is allowed by God to happen. Is not his power. God, they will have no power, have no authority. All the power that he have and all the authority that he's possess is not
Mhm.
his. Is granted by God. We have always to remember this. Otherwise, we will believe that he is powerful, and is not true. You know, the truth is that it was granted this power to give to him. So
Yeah,
he have the power to give.
so by
Yes,
making them worship an image, he's trying to encourage people, to spread this image, like, for his image to be everywhere.
yes, yes, exactly. And that's why he will give breath to the image of the beast, that it will
Mhm.
be a great miracle, that the image of the beast should both speak,
Mhm.
you know, and it will be, and uh, why? Because and cause as many as will not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Now we saw this also in the Old Testament with
Mhm.
Nabucodonosor, and that he make an image of himself, and he was trying to be worshipping by the people,
Hmm.
and whoever is not worshiping him wasn't worshiping him, he was going to die. So
Yeah,
the same thing is going to happen now. you
that's
know
right.
and
Um,
this is very important. It's very important because now we see the real uh, um, the real purpose of the Antichrist, and the real purpose of the teaching of the false prophet.
mhm.
The main teaching and the main
Is to worship him
uh, yes, is to
overthrow
worshiping.
God, and
Yes, to become. Yes, he wants the first beast to be worshiping as God. That's
Mhm.
why he make an icon, and that's why everybody have to worship
Mm.
this icon
Mm.
that he's speaking. This icon
That's right.
will speak. You know.
Or the threat is, if you're not obedient to the beast, that you'll be killed.
Yes. Yes.
Revelation 13:16. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one, sorry, who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Okay, we will have to say many things. So if you
Okay.
want to make it to the other chapter, to unite it,
Oh,
and
yes, sure.
yeah,
No
because
worries.
yeah, okay.
All right. All right. Very good. Thanks so much. And closing comments for the listeners?
The chapter 12, chapter 13 and 14 are very basic,
Mhm.
and it's all the revelation for our days. So we will go a little bit slower here, because this will remain, but we have to be very secure by the interpretation of the Holy Fathers, how they interpret it, and what we are going to deal. That's why
Mhm.
we'll go a little bit slower here.
Okay. All right then. Well,
Okay.
God bless you and your family and the listeners, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, God bless you all.
God bless.